drawing. Jeez. Hey everyone, my name is Deanna and this is the first of my drawing tutorial series. I decided to go ahead and do a series on drawing portraits. So this week I'll focus on drawing eyes, next week I'll focus on drawing the nose, and then week after that I'll focus on drawing the mouth. Then we'll put it all together and talk about proportions and that kind of thing. So first you're going to need obviously something to draw on. So I just have some basic Strathmore sketching paper. I have Derwent graphic pencils, and I have a blending stump. Obviously you want a sharpener to keep your pencil sharp for those fine details. And I have my trusty dusty kneaded eraser. This is my favorite eraser to use. So you're obviously going to need a reference. I recommend that you use yourself as a reference because you know the way you look better than anyone else. So you know your different wrinkles, your folds, the way your eyelids look, the special things about your eyes. So that's the best thing to start with. You can either use a photo reference. I recommend a high quality photo, or you can draw from life. I will be using a photo reference just so that I can point out the things in the photo that I'm talking about while I'm doing the tutorial. Alright, so now that we have that done, we can go ahead and get started. Alright, so we're going to start with the inner corner of the eye and then work your way around the shape of the eye. You want to pay attention to this muscly part of your eye in the corner. Also, your iris is obstructed by your upper and lower lid in some way depending on the perspective, so pay attention to how that looks in your reference. Make sure you leave a little spot for your highlight here near your pupil. Also pay attention to this lower lash line ridge here that's created. Your eyelashes don't come straight out of your eyeball. They do come out of this ridge, so make sure you don't make that mistake. Also pay attention to this upper eyelid crease that's created. Everyone is different, so make sure you pay attention to the actual shape of that crease. Don't draw your eyelashes straight out. They are sort of like a check mark, and this is something that takes a little practice, and honestly I'm better at it with the left eye than I am the right eye, as you see here, but that's just something that takes practice. You're going to fill in the iris and the white of the eyeball. The white of the eyeball is typically not stark white, so you want to make sure that you do fill that in with some values too. It just depends on your lighting situation and the perspective that you're drawing in. Okay, so we're drawing the lower lashes here. Notice that some of them sort of crisscross over, and that helps add to that realistic effect. Alright, now as much as you don't want to admit it, you do have some creases and bags and things like that around your eyes, and that's okay. That's what makes you look like you. So make sure you draw those in if you want something that looks as realistic as possible. I've drawn some celebrity portraits and seen things that I didn't realize, like, oh, this person has sort of a messed up nose. So don't be ashamed of that. Everyone is different. For eyebrows, I like to do sort of up and down strokes near the front part of the eyebrow, near the bridge of the nose, and then sort of diagonal them out as I go along. These are sort of bushy looking eyebrows. They're a lot thicker than my real eyebrows, but I broke the cardinal rule and I did make them look a little bit better than they do in real life. So here you can see I'm sort of crisscrossing the eyelashes to make them look a little more real, and I'm pointing out that you need a sharp pencil to do this type of thing and not a dull pencil, so that you get a nice crisp line. Okay, now this is moving a little bit into the realm of proportions, but I wanted to talk about this today. Usually people have, their eyes are about one eye width apart. So you measure one eye And then in between those two eyes is going to be about 1 eye width apart. So you can kind of, okay, so this is about here, and make a little mark and then test that and make sure. Now, not everyone is going to be exactly that, but you can just use that as sort of a marker and see how far apart the eye should be. Okay, so again, I started with the corner of the eye, and I'm just filling in here, leaving room for the highlight as much as possible. If you notice to the right of the eye, I did shade in there because that part was pretty dark in the photo. And I'm just sort of adding little lashes, and I'm starting to do the eyelid crease here, paying attention to the actual shape of my crease, and doing these lashes. As I said, I'm much better at eyelashes on this eye, as you can see. So you can just add some marks here. These pencils are really soft, so they're really easy to blend, and it makes such a beautiful mark here. And just blend that out. This obviously isn't a finished 100% drawing. It was just a sketch to show you how I draw eyes and just give you a few little tips and tricks to make your eyes look as realistic as possible. Okay, everybody, that was it. That was my first drawing tutorial. I hope you learned at least a little bit, or was at least a little bit entertained by my video. Please subscribe, like this video, share it with your friends, and I'll see you next week.